There are 54 countries in Africa. They have populations ranging from 91,000 in the Seychelles to 207 million in Nigeria. The ethnic groups of Africa number in thousands. Traditional religious beliefs vary enormously because each ethnic and geographic group has its own. It is estimated that between 1,500 to 2,000 African languages are spoken in this continent. All this variety has produced an unimaginable wealth of human heritage. However, there is also another side to the coin. It was, and still is, difficult for the governments and peoples of Africa to see this varied population as one family. Tribal wars formed the daily reality in the past, and armed conflicts are innumerable even today. Tensions between groups blow up into civil wars. It was, and still is, difficult to see eye to eye, to come together and accept each other as equals. Today, most countries are democracies, though many are still very fragile. The economy is picking up in the recent years, with a few countries reaching even 6% growth per year, though the majority have slower growth than that, and at least 2 countries have seen a shrinking of the economy. The average annual per capita income is only $1,600, with that of the Central African Republic being as low as a mere $681. The differences among the people make collaboration among them a difficult goal to achieve. The lack of disposable income makes it difficult for people to go to the aid of those in need. However, we experienced an exceptional level of solidarity in 2020 when COVID-19 arrived on the continent. The virus made a late entry here, perhaps due to the low level of international travel in most parts. Nevertheless, even the countries that had only a handful of infected people had to declare lockdowns as a preventive measure. This affected everyone, especially the poor who work in the informal sector, live from day to day, and survive each day with what they earn that day itself. When they could not go out to earn their daily bread, starvation set in. The call to action given by Father Ángel Fernández Artime, the head of the Salesian family, was heard in every community in the 42 countries of Africa where Salesians are present. He was very direct and clear. This is not the time to cross our arms, sit and wait. This is the time to roll up our sleeves, hone our creativity, and do whatever we can. We cannot save the whole world. However, we can do something in our own immediate neighborhood to help families we know, even if in an apparently insignificant way. The Salesian family in Africa sat up and looked around. We have very limited resources. We first thought of our usual partners abroad. Hearing of an efficient world-level coordination set up at Sacro Cuore, we appealed for funds. Our friends were generous and helped us to the extent of their capacity. It was soon clear, however, that with a pandemic that was affecting every nation on the globe, with the loss of jobs and hence loss of income even in the most developed countries, it would not be possible to depend only on external help if the poor around us were to survive. In the messages we received each day from the coordinator at the world level, we saw beautiful examples of small efforts at mutual help at the local level. Some started vegetable gardens to feed themselves and their neighbors. Grocery stores, bakeries, pizza makers, supermarkets, farmers and others donated in kind. Salesians built partnerships with parishes, dioceses and other religious congregations. A variety of local clubs, corporations and businesses supported their efforts to help the needy. Police officers and civil servants helped them to distribute food to large crowds in an orderly fashion and avoid infecting one another. We did the same in Africa. People donated bread, rice and even cabbages. Owners of vehicles offered to transport the goods to the villages. The poorest of workers worked to load and unload trucks for free. We got carry bags for free. women and young people, Catholics and people of other faiths worked side by side to pack the carry bags for the people to take their supplies back home. Relief work became a vast movement of people from varying backgrounds, united on the basis of a common vision and a common goal: the survival of every human being. In South Africa, a store donated cloth. Salesian cooperators, teachers and volunteers made them into masks, and the Salesians and Daughters of Mary Help of Christians joined hands with them to distribute them. All over Africa and around the world, local partners, local networks and local donations became the backbone of the relief effort. We looked beyond our differences to our common humanity. We found this human identity stronger, deeper and more profound than what had divided and separated us. We saw beyond our poverty and realized that all of us had something that we could contribute, even if it were just a few kilos of potatoes, some pumpkins, or a dozen cobs of corn. Journalists were charmed and published positive reports of what we did in the print media and on television. This increased the number of our local donors and multiplied what we could distribute. Some used their contacts to spread the word about what we were doing. Others used their influence to get permissions we needed to break the rules of the lockdown so that we could go out in search of the most forgotten. Seeing this excellent local collaboration to confront a serious need, the donor network grew in size and dimensions, with even politicians, ministers, ambassadors, and other diplomats, foreign foundations and individuals pitching in to give a helping hand. What was important was not who got the credit, but who received the service that was indispensable for their survival. We learned to be humble, to listen to each other, to understand one another, to be patient, to respect the opinions of others, to accept them and appreciate the diversity among us, to be grateful for the contributions of everyone and to meet the needs of all, and occasionally to forgive each other, to close an eye and shut the other. Decisions were not taken on the basis of who had contributed more, nor on the identity of the beneficiaries. Identities based on language, tribe, place, religion, country of origin, but on the basis of the greater need, the more immediate need. Undocumented foreign immigrants into South Africa, for instance, who were not eligible for aid from the state, received food from their brothers and sisters, children of the same Father in heaven. We did receive from abroad, and we are immensely grateful for this assistance, particularly in the early months of the pandemic. However, we learned that we are capable of survival on our own if only we could see one another with the eyes of our common Father. If everyone, even the poorest and weakest, could realize that there are people in greater need than they are. And if everyone contributes his might in cash, in kind, or in service, every nation has enough for the survival of all its people. We have learned that we shall all survive if we strive together for the survival of all. We shall all die if each of us tries to survive on his own. Our survival, our growth, our blooming and flourishing will not come from outside, but from the sharing of all we have among us, sharing them with the people around us as one team, one network, one family. The sweetest streams of solidarity are not those that flow down from above. The sweetest are those that flow sideways. Everyone says that we will never return to the pre-COVID way of life. That is fine if it means that this conviction of one Father, one family becomes permanent. If it means that we will pay attention to what unites us more than to what separates us. If it means that there will no longer be us and them. If it means we will truly become, and forever remain, tutti fratelli. This is what we long for, hope for, and pray for to our common Father, a loving Father. Father, open our eyes, minds, and hearts, that we may really see in every human being around us a sister, a brother, a child of yours. Let the streams of solidarity among us flourish and grow.